born-again Christian. I am a lawyer by profession. In the past, I've participated in leadership quests. In the year 2022, I was one of the four with one Wajak, George Wajakoya, and the rest of them. And here I am, and the rest, you know. But Samuel somehow that thing did not pour oil on me as much as he tried. And I'm told in the tradition has it that when the prophet did this way, if it was not you, the oil would never come. So that was my case. I am I'm an ordained lay minister, so when occasion demands, I can be in color, but it's not color that defines me. I'm a father, and we are parents of 4, and one has gone to rest with the Lord, and many other children. Now, the first question that I was told, and I need to set the example here, is in my testimony, I should tell one moment, event, action over the years of my life that has grounded my faith in God. I'm supposed to describe a tangible anchor experience or moment in my life as an individual. One moment. I need first to start by saying, and this is a testimony I give always, it's not a cliche, it's something I give that for me, I always consider that my life started, or I started living when I gave my heart to Christ, when I became born again, when I became saved. I don't know, what's your school? When I got reconciled to God. I learned as a human being from when I was born, I was detached from God, and I needed to be reconciled. When I made that decision, that was in the year 1970, 75, 74, 73, as a second former in high school. And that's when I started living. My life, I started having a meaning for my life took a tangent, and I started having a purpose. Before that, I was just surviving, is the way I put it. So for me, that moment sets out one moment that I can remember about. The other moment that came for me is when I got called to the University of Nairobi to do a law degree. It was very tough in our days. In our days, from 5 and 6, you needed to have like 2 A's and a B, something like that. An A had 6 points. I didn't get that, but I got about that. I got my 17 points. It was very competitive. I remember in our class we were 70. Now I think the law classes, even the University of Nairobi itself, the Parkland campus, there could be hundreds. It was very competitive. I never understand. There is nothing special makes the law course or being this or other profession greater than the other. And that for me was something. Before that, I always remember my father wanted me to be a forest officer. Division Forest Officer, DFO, if you come from Dodori or near there, because my father was read up to Standard 8, and his age mates, academic mates, are the people who took offices and so on. And that was like Form 2, almost Form 4. My father actually taught me handwriting and how to write. My third key defining moment was when I got married to my sweetheart and my classmate. Don't worry whether I was concentrating in class or not, but I passed my exams, and God made a way. And for me, that was a defining moment because I understand that marriage, when God blesses one with that, is God's gift. God may choose some of us to lead a single life to serve Him their way. But when God blesses you with that or either, that doesn't determine whether it is that will take you to heaven. But it does do something, whichever position that God places you on. Of course, I could just identify those three. The final one, of course, our children and what they have meant to me is something. The final one on that score is, John, you're telling me how many minutes I have, is when in God's way of working and how he turned defined things in the year 2022, out of 59 contestants for the presidential seat for Kenya, I found myself one of the 4. Even up to now, I scratch and say, how did it just happen? Granted, I could tell you that for the last 17 years, I would need to put a disclaimer. I'm seriously, I'm not a politician. But once you get involved in that space, you are referred to as a politician. Denying will not help my cause. Probably I have a little leadership, or I love matters justice, matters being right. But for me, that was a miracle because there were many thresholds that needed to be passed to get there. There are the names we were with. It was not because I had the millions and billions they talk about, but I'm glad I was there, and I just got opportunities that came my way, including on the date of the debate. Instead of my opponent coming so that each of us would have had 45 minutes or 40, I had 90 minutes and I spoke to the whole world. For me, that was profound, and I deliberately dressed like a clergy. I wanted to make a statement, and I'm grateful for that. The other question that comes here, and now I need to run. I know I have less than 4 minutes. What are the things that have built, grown, established my confidence and dependence in God? Getting to reconcile to God is just one step. Making a decision to follow God is just one step. Thereafter, we start on a journey. I could hear that said to those of us. And when I went through discipleship, counseling, and being equipped in my new Christian life, but starting the walk, it's a day-to-day learning. And for me, of course, there are the basics that have made a difference in me, in my life. Just getting to understand more what this faith is about. And it has come from a consistent, not always consistent, from reading his word and getting deeper, like for the last, I think I'm trying right now to go through the Bible, not in 1 year. I decided something I've never done in life. Now I will take 2 years, even almost 3. And for me, it's like studying it. And even where I can go beyond when I am reading other materials, that's what I've been doing. So it's the Word of God, number one. The other thing that has made a difference for me are just learning the power of prayer. When we go before God, you kneel there, or you sit there, you stand there, or you are sitting there driving in your car. You talk to God directly. You don't need a mediator in between. You tell him, and he speaks to you through your word. That has made a difference. So that right now, I don't know what under the heavens, except sin, that I could have fear of. Of course, pride and things like that are things I should be fearful of, because I know who owns everything, creates everything. For me, that I can approach God, I can speak to him, and that he is real, he answers, he hears. It's made a lot of difference. It's taken away worry, anxiety. Do I have a bit of them? Maybe I can answer a question about that. Being also involved in service, like for me this moment, being able to speak about this. I know I'm not an accident of being here today. I'm not an accident of creation either. I am here for a purpose. About 2 years back, we had our daughter, youngest, go to be with the Lord, and something about death became such a reality. And I came to learn that when you and I are born, this is a year of this, you're born at this point, God has determined the season when you'll die. For those who are familiar with the scripture, Hebrews 9:27, it's appointed unto man to die once. It means all of us, even anybody, even those you esteem and you think they will live forever. No. In terms of the physical, unless we are raptured, we will go one day. But it's what happens and in what state you are when you die. So being able to serve, we are here then for a purpose, not to waste sleep, then wake up, go to work. You can tell your routine, but But it's much more than that. We are here to accomplish something, and it can be your purpose at the age of 10, 15, or the time appointed, can come and you have to go. And for me, I've realized the usefulness of serving God's purpose, of letting people know about my faith, my God, and what He demands at whatever level, professional, as a parent, at the political, at the commercial, whatever. It's important, time being of essence. And then, of course, well-meaning friends have made a lot of difference. Well-meaning friends, and so on. The final one, what are things? Are there things I can regret of? I'm paraphrasing it. How do you know you are... What are the things that have weakened your faith, and how has God helped you to overcome? Yeah, I would be wrong. I would be lying to say it's been all what I have depicted. I have faced difficult moments. Right now, maybe in question time, I may come with something. I have not always lived to the optimum of God's expectation of me. Not even my wife, not even friends. There are things I have done, I have made some decisions which I think I could have made them different. Yes, I have come across things in life and they overwhelmed me, or almost overwhelmed me. But the fact that I am not my own has made me overcome. This world also, Jesus did not tell us that it will be like going down slope on a bicycle. I'm quoting my primary school teacher. No, we'll face difficulties. And Scripture tells us, the Bible tells us, Jesus came and lived this life so that we may know how to live it. He may also understand when we call upon Him. So, even in terms of what I've shared in the first 2 points, it hasn't been a perfection. Have I failed? Have I slept? Have I made people angry? Have I made decisions that were not? Yes, I have. But I've gone back to God where it's a sin. I've also sought to reconcile with people where it's on an interpersonal level. I think I'll stop there, John, and I hope my wife now will come over. I have the pleasure to invite her, looking at John. Please give my wife a clap as she comes. Thank you.
Good morning. Let me start by one experience that grounded my faith. It was not a good experience. And I'm not boasting. The way parents are told, they're always saying they were the best students. I'm not boasting, but I was quite a smart student. From Form 4 to Form 6, and then to the university where I went to take law. So, at the law school, and he is here so he can confirm. Okay. I was not. No, it's my turn, So anyway, I was among the 7 students who were top students at the university during our 3rd year. Of course, Kina Mary and Dennis were also with us. Then I went to the Kenya School of Law. And I did my diploma there. We are supposed to do a diploma in order to be admitted to the bar. So don't ask what is to be admitted to the bar. It's to become an advocate now. So at the School of Law, after the exams, I failed 2 papers. I got into a depression, serious depression, because I had never failed. I didn't know what failure was. I didn't know what I was going to tell my father. My father was quite my hero, so what was I going to tell him? So I actually got depressed. And I went to my brother's house. My brother used to live in Lang'ata. I went there for 2 weeks, and I was quite unwell with diseases that I don't know what they were, but now I think back, I think it was stress. And I remember I had just given my life, recommitted my life to Jesus Christ. I had recommitted my life I had committed my life to Jesus Christ when I was at the Alliance Girls High School. Again, don't say, oh, yes. So, but when I went to first year, second year, I was not doing very well in my Christian walk. But in my third year, I became a very serious Christian. So now I went into CU and I was a very serious Christian. So now, when I failed those 2 papers, I always remember it was, I think, civil procedure and something else for those who are lawyers. I was really depressed, and I couldn't be admitted to the bar. So I remember I was praying, I was learning to do quiet time, and I was praying, and I was asking the Lord, what is this? Then one day, the Lord spoke to me from, I will never forget, from Isaiah 43, verse 1 and 2, that when you go through the fire, I will be with you, and the fire will not overwhelm you, and the fire will not quench you, and I think the water will not overwhelm you. And I remember waking up, it was a Saturday morning, and all of a sudden I was encouraged, I had faith, I felt okay, and in the course of the day I was healed. And I was really unwell, I was healed. And I know that grounded my faith, that I can trust God, and God can speak to me even as a young believer, and I can hear him, and I can be well. So I remember after that, I had the courage to go back to the principal, Tudor Jackson. Probably those who are older knew about Tudor Jackson, because everybody knew about Tudor Jackson. I went back to him, and I registered that I wanted to repeat the 2 subjects. And after I repeated, I passed, and I was admitted to the bar. So that encouraged my faith. And why I'm sharing it is because I know our life is not always smooth. Sometimes it will be down, sometimes it will be up. But God is always there with us. And that helped me. Okay, another one recently now. I have so many. I mean, when you are 60 plus, you have so many stories. So let me say the other one, which happened recently. I had been wanting to go back. So I was a magistrate. My first job when I left the School of Law now I was a magistrate. Again, not anything I chose. I wanted to be a company legal officer and make a lot of money. I did not want to go to the government because we were earning $2,990 per month as a magistrate, professional. So lawyers in the room who are complaining, you are getting 100,000, don't complain. We started with 2,990. So I wanted to become a legal officer. I did some interviews, but I didn't get the job. But the same Tudor Jackson, the principal of Kenya School of Law then, came and asked me, do you want to become a magistrate? I said, no. Why don't you want to become a magistrate? I want to become a legal officer. He said, anyway, I've made an interview with you with the Chief Justice. You will go and do the interview and tell him you want to stay in Nairobi so that you can stay with your parents, isn't it? So it's like he has decided everything for me. And I said, okay, fine. And I went and I became a magistrate, and I thank God. So I really enjoyed working as a magistrate. But then, because of that money, and because I wanted to have more exposure in other areas of law, we only used to do criminal law that time as a magistrate. So I wanted now to go into other areas. So I left, and we started the law firm. And we worked in the law firm for many years, which is he's still working at right now, up to today. But for me, I left now when I went back to the court. So I always wanted to go back to court, and I tried, I did interviews, I did applications, it didn't happen. Then in 2019, one man of God came and asked me, do you still want to become a judge? I said, yeah. He said, are you serious, or I stopped praying for you? I said, I'm serious. Okay. He said, okay, then you better apply. So I decided to apply, although I was exhausted, because you've applied so many times and it has not happened. So I applied, and as God would have it, I got the job. That was in 2019. I think it was it August? It was August. I was waiting. In a month's time, we will be sworn in and I'll be a judge. It didn't happen. 2 years down the line, we were still in the periphery. You are not a judge, you are not a lawyer, you are nothing. You are being told you are among a group of corrupt judges, so you can't be sworn in by the president. And you see, nobody else can swear you in. We went to court several times, we got court orders, they were not obeyed. So that really put me down. For 2 years, we would pray with my colleagues. We were 40 of us. Most of them would call me when they are so down. They were, Judge. They used to we still call each other judges. Of course, we were not sworn in. Judge, how are you going? How are you getting on? So I would encourage them. And myself, I'm not that encouraged. That was very hard. And that has grounded my faith that what God has promised, it does not matter how long it takes, it will come to pass. So please, whatever you are holding on to, whatever you are trusting God for, in the fullness of time, it will happen. So that is my second story. And now I'll finish because I don't want to take time. I know we are many. I thought I checked my time, but now I'm confused, so I don't know how much I have. Another 5. So let me talk about what my husband alluded to about our daughter. That one incident that actually shook my faith. We have a group in our estate where we pray together from the days of COVID 2020. We pray together every evening without fail. Even if you are 2 of us or 1 of us, we just pray. We pray together on Zoom throughout with the N.Ng'ang'as and others. So that night, the Wednesday night before my daughter passed on, I was the one sharing. And I remember sharing from Philippians 3:10. I think it's 3:10. That I should know him and the power of his resurrection and being, you know that verse, that I should know him and the power of his resurrection and all that. So I shared on that and how, how to walk with God no matter what you're going through. Then my daughter was fine. We had talked. The following day was my birthday, and we were going to celebrate on Saturday with her and other family members. But that morning, as I woke up, is when I got the news that she was not at home, but where she was, she fell ill, and as she was being taken to hospital, she passed on. And you can imagine how that weakened my faith. I just felt, God, for one, why didn't you warn me? Secondly, what could we have done? We have been praying for this family for so long, for the children. What went wrong? And that really shook my faith. But I thank God, because despite that, there is not a single day that I have cursed God, I have felt God did wrong. Yes, I have had questions for him, but I have stood and said it does not matter, and I know that one day I'll see my daughter. I know that God had a good plan. So that is one incident that shook my faith, but I thank God because we are still standing, and God has given us promises that he will still stand with us until the last minute, and we'll continue to worship him. We will continue to testify about his goodness, about his faithfulness, despite all that. And so that is one testimony that I'd like to share with you people, that sometimes things will happen that are so unexpected, but God is still on the throne. So I think I would want to end at that. I can answer questions if there will be any after that. So yes, I thank God. I don't know who next is coming. Thank you very much.